Well, it looks like we're getting a lot of climate news today, but we already talked about this earlier in the week. But the Department of Justice suing the state of California, but now it is picking up more steam in the mainstream media, and I'm talking about Fox News or Fox Business on this one. They're getting into some analysis here that sounds pretty good. It sounds like California is about to get waxed. Roll the intro. We're going to get directly into the clip.
Jonathan Siri, thank you so much. Also in California, the state is trying to make truckers ditch diesel, and the Justice Department is having none of it.
The Trump administration suing the pants off of that state over its electric vehicle mandate with two complaints, seeking to end California's emissions standards, which require a share of heavy-duty vehicles to be all electric by 2035. An attorney for the Department of Justice's Environment and Natural Resources Division says, quote, agreement, contract, partnership, mandate, whatever California wants to call it, this unlawful action attempts to undermine federal law. President Donald Trump and Congress have invalidated the Clean Air Act waivers that were the basis for California's actions.
Joining us now is Power the Future founder and executive director Daniel Turner. Daniel, you're an expert in this area. What's going on here? What's your read of this situation? Who's right, who's wrong on this one?
Well, California is in the wrong, and that's unsurprising. California's waiver has exempted them this blanket permission that none of the punitive measures of any laws, any environmental laws that came out of the Biden EPA, for example, they have to pay. So Gavin Newsom can say, well, yeah, no, we're implementing this, and it doesn't cost our economy. It doesn't make our life more difficult. The California waiver has been this blanket acknowledgement that California doesn't really have to follow the law, because we realize if California put into effect all these environmental policies, their economy would be in worse shape than it is. So California lost their waiver on environmental rules. But look, this is another example of California just trying to decide winners and losers. I saw that little teaser of the upcoming interview or the upcoming clip with Eric Swalwell. Why is food so expensive? Because of things like this. Because of the amount of environmental policy put on truckers, put on farmers, where President Trump is trying to get
California and its liberal idiots are fighting this only for, again, power control. It's not for what is good for the people of California. You have written and talked, and I have read endlessly about the insanity and moronity of electric commercial vehicles, trucks specifically. Drayage trucks, new ones have to be diesel starting last year, and you know this, but just the weight of these vehicles. Each electric truck has to run on two batteries, 8,000 pounds. Batteries can power trucks for only 150 to 330 miles between charges, and a charge takes up to 8 hours. So you can imagine, they can only go short distances anyway, and then tear the roads apart.
Yeah, and you're paying for that, right? You're paying for your delivery truck to pull over to the side of the road for 8 hours to charge up their vehicles. And what should be delivered in a day is taking 2 days because of delays in charging. You're paying for those costs. So that's driving up the price. Look, I'm really indifferent about where the economy goes if the free market decides it. If electric vehicles one day rule the world, that's great. I called my organization Power the Future because I don't know what the future is going to be, but I do know that right now, electric vehicles are not this panacea that they're made out to be. Electric tractors are non-existent. Electric commercial truckers are driving up costs. And so we're not going to have a bright future if we punish our today. And mandating it, whether it was Joe Biden or Gavin Newsom, mandating it with false deadlines and false percentages. By 2030, 50% of trucks have to be EV. None of those things are going to usher in a better tomorrow.
I want to transition to this because Rivian is saying it's facing a $100 million hole after Trump rolled back fuel economy standards. Rivian, I've driven one. It's a good product, but boy, financially, they've got some real question marks.
It's a fantastic car. It's really cool. I haven't driven one. I can't afford one. They're incredibly expensive. But God bless the people who can afford one, right? But poor Rivian, their model was based on government mandates that were going to outlaw the combustion engine, tax incentives that were subsidizing your purchase of an electric vehicle, and then also these exuberant, these crazy standards coming out of the Biden EPA of CAFE standards, of tailpipe emission standards that were punishing their competition. So if your business model is based on the power of government coercion to get rid of your competition, then you don't really have a product, right? What you have is force. And so no offense to Rivian, but now that you have to compete in the free world, in the free market, and you're not as profitable, that's not the fault of the Trump administration. It's the fault of a lousy business model that depended upon government to kick your enemies to the curb.
Yeah.
Well, you really can't say it much better than that, right? I mean, they make it very clear. It also in the DOJ lawsuit, which I'm going to cover in a video probably tomorrow. I got to read through it. They also talk about the scam that is the California Air Resource Board and their partnership with the Bureau of Automotive Repair and Smog checks, and how some of this smog check scam may be overburdensome for the average consumer, basically saying they're scamming you. They're stealing money from you to do these smog checks. Now, what we're going to do is, I'm not just going to speculate on it. I already jumped into Pacer. If you don't know what that is, it's how you get into the federal document system, which I have access to, and downloaded the entire Department of Justice lawsuit against the state of California. We're going to go through those pages where they specifically target the Bureau of Automotive Repair in their partnership with CARB, dealing with smog checks, dealing with some of these clean advanced rules for you guys that have diesel motorhomes, and now you're having to go 4 times a year to make sure your vehicle is compliant, even if you're not driving it, even if it's just parked somewhere in an RV park. This has become overburdensome, dumbass regulation in the state of California. And for you guys that have been waiting for that freedom in the state of California, it's coming. Despite what these other YouTube channels keep telling you, nothing's gonna change, it's all gonna stay the same, all of that. Yeah, you're gonna notice that those people get quiet really soon. Because one thing California can boast, and they can talk about how big their economy is and how great this and that is, one thing they can't do, they can't outspend the federal government. And when the federal government wants something and they have the law behind them when it comes to federal supremacy, the state of California is going to fucking lose. You can book it. So outside of that, other legislation that is pending, which I'm going to update you guys on probably tomorrow or the next day, talking about HR 4117 and where that's at, and if that's being attached to a budget resolution. We're going to talk about that and the Transportation Freedom Act coming up here soon, so stay tuned for that. But I want to know what you guys think. What do you guys think about the analysis or what they said here on Fox Business? I mean, I think it makes perfect sense. Everybody wants to bitch about how much stuff costs in California. Well, you're voting for what stuff costs in California. I don't want to hear people complain about how much things cost in California because you voted for it. And if you're complaining because I can't even drive my truck, I can't do this anymore, you voted for it. And if you didn't, you need to talk to your neighbors. You need to talk to other people. You need to follow YouTube channels like Reform California. And you need to make sure that you go out and vote for change in your governor's election later this year. Because if you don't, it's really your own fault. Anyways, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Give the video a big thumbs up if you like what we do, and hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It's interesting to see how California wants to talk about being the rule of law and doing all this crap, but is so quick to violate federal law. Kind of hypocritical, isn't it? Stay petty, my friends.